Thank you for that very kind and warm introduction. Oh, I didn't even get an introduction. God darn it. Well, my name is Bruce Harrell. I'm the mayor of the city. I have to tell you how honored I am to spend some time with you to talk about this executive order. You're going to hear some fine speakers very briefly, and we're going to have a great fair today. This is a mayor's dream to see this kind of work that we're doing. So let me go to my notes so I get these fine bullet points that I'm supposed to go over. Many of you have met me before. You know I like to riff, which always gets me in trouble. But I only riff when I'm excited, and I am clearly excited about what I see in front of us, this work we're doing. So, of course, we're here to talk about the executive order and our intentionality on working with women and minority-owned businesses, emphasizing equity, looking at what we can do as a city. Many of you came to today's Reverse Vendor Show to expand your networks, your relationship capital. That becomes critical in this work that we're doing, to make meaningful connections, to explore opportunities with our city and other public agencies for your businesses. So today I'm issuing a new executive order. I'm going to talk about a little bit about it from a granular basis, but it's all about equity for small businesses, particularly women and minority-owned businesses seeking contracting and procurement opportunities with the City of Seattle. Our city departments will implement critical actions, very specific actions to advance contracting equity for supporting your businesses, and there are many ways we can do that. We looked at what we are able to do as a city. We spend over $900 million on goods and services. That's a lot of dough. That's serious money. Year after year, we've been consistently trying to grow our citywide purchasing and consulting spending with WMBE firms. Last year, we spent nearly $228 million with WMBEs for consulting services and contracting for public work projects, but that's not enough. That's not enough. And what we want to do is demonstrate not only to this city, but to this world and this country and to this state what we can do when we're very intentional about giving you the opportunities. Now, this is not on my script, and I'm going to get in trouble by saying this, but when I was a young attorney, and that may shock you that either that I was an attorney or I was young, either way it might be shocking for me to say that, and I was obviously a person of color, when I would go to clients and pitch my services and pitch members of my firm who also were African American, and women, I would say, hire us because we're the best. We are tenacious. We had to work with limited resources. We had to fight through impediments to get to college and law school or these experiences. Hire us because we're the best. And by the way, we hire from people in our community. We hire voices that are underrepresented. All I want is an opportunity. I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm asking for equal treatment. I just want to get my foot in the door. And quite frankly, my phone would ring off the hook. And I would never blame anyone for the racism and the unfairness in society. There's a lot of blame to go around. I'd say, hire my company because we are the best. And so I advise you as your unpaid lawyer that you are the best by virtue of having the common sense to be here today. Okay? You are building relationships. And we will meet you halfway, and you're going to do your part by making sure you do what needs to be done. So to put this in perspective, once again, this executive order is going to do a few things, and I'm just going to hum a few bars about what we're trying to do. Recognizing the disparities that occur in this industry, looking at the remnants of what I-200 did, going through the governor's executive order and how we can legally and ethically and morally still look at underrepresented communities and contract with intentionality. We realize that we may have legal freedom to be aggressive in what we're trying to do and still be within the law. So one of the things I've asked each of my city departments is to develop an annual outreach plan dealing specific strategies to engage with you, your community. We want to see that. We want to open up the data. Beginning in this quarter, quarter four 2023, each department will hold regularly meetings and attend engagement opportunities like this, connecting Black-owned businesses and BIPOC firms with city departments and project managers and procurement professionals. And I'll say specifically why I say Black-owned in some of my closing remarks, because equity is not just confined to one race at all. And so I'm going to close with that when people start wondering why we emphasize particularly and call out Black-owned businesses. In 2024, I'm asking your department, Kiersten Grove's department, FAS. Well, I guess it's ultimately my department too, right? If it doesn't work, it's your department. If it works, it's my department. To develop a tool that the city offices and departments can use to engage in race and social justice analysis for every procurement policy decision to ensure equity for BIPOC-owned firms. We want to analyze every decision we make. I will be that granular in this approach. Now, quite honestly, I haven't been doing this work just for 3 or 4 years. When I was a young lawyer, once again, I started working with this called the Central City Economic Development Association. When I got elected in 2007, I started a group called Performance First at the Puget Sound Regional Council, doing this kind of work. So I've been passionate about this because I've been in your shoes. My Japanese grandparents and aunts and uncles, they own small businesses. My black-owned family owns small businesses. This is why I've been passionate about it, because I was able to work at some of these places, so I get it. FAS will continue to work with the IT department and other departments as needed to replace or upgrade the city's online business directory to make it a high-functioning and easy-to-use tool that connects city offices and departments with firms that want to do business with the city. It has to be easy for you to use and understand and access. That is going to be critical. FAS will continue to manage the implementation of the citywide disparity study, a large-scale study that seeks to evaluate WMBEs having equal access to contracting opportunities and establish recommendations to enhance contracting equity. In other words, you will see what we do. You will measure us. You will measure my leadership and my commitment to this work. We're not going to run away from that. We will open that for all to see. FAS shall publicly post WMBE spend reports broken down by office, department on a quarterly basis. FAS will also produce an annual summary of WMBE utilization by the end of second quarter each year. In 2024, FAS shall work in sync with my office to evaluate the impact of policy changes on the state level resulting from the state executive orders 2201 and 2202. In other words, I realize that you're also trying to get opportunities with the state, the county, the port, and I think many of you know that we have 2 fine port commissioners that are part of our administration to get that cross relationship in play for you, among other things, for you to make sure that we develop these relationships. So we want to use I guess it's called a bully pulpit. I never liked that expression, bully pulpit. Oh, I want to recognize Councilmember Sarah Nelson here. She's always at these. She's going to help us on the council, leading this work. As a small business owner, she gets this stuff, and it's always nice to have you here and supporting what we're trying to do. This executive order has around 4 or 5 pages to it, and so I would just sort of skimming. There's just a few other things I want to say, and I want to loop back to the point I made earlier. We recognize that communities are impacted by, all communities are impacted by contracting equity, including LGBTQ-owned businesses, veteran-owned firms, immigrant-owned firms, and other small businesses in general. You are competing in an e-commerce world. You are competing in a global economy. We recognize the challenges. I'm directing FAS to continue to explore ways to advance opportunities for these firms using the input of the WMBE Advisory Committee and to use our disparity study to lift all boats in this work. We specifically talk about black-owned businesses because the data would suggest that that is an area we need to target, and we believe by targeting that particular demographic, all boats rise. Native American boats rise. Women boats rise. So I would ask you to understand there's a method that we're trying to look at. If we examine where our systems break down for small businesses and we examine where some of our biggest holes are, so to speak, then we all increase. I also want to recognize Javier Valdez in the back. See, I could see you back there, Javier, who's been doing this work on a statewide basis as an elected representative and as a City of Seattle employee. I could do shout-outs all day because I see many of you have been to this party, but we're trying to take this up. We're trying to take this work up. That's what this executive work is all about. So the last point I want to make is that we believe in business development, technical assistance, workforce development, contracting equity in FAS, the Office of Economic Development, and all of our departments. So what we're trying to do in my One Seattle model is quite candidly not work in silos. There are many organizations, you're going to hear from Tabor, for an example, many organizations trying to do this kind of work. I don't want organizations to compete with one another. I want to develop the ecosystem such that you know where to go. That's why in our Liberty Project, we're working with the University of Washington, Seattle University, Tabor 100. I want to pull together all the Northwest, the business development supplies. I want to pull everyone together, and I want to be like, well, I can't say Russell Wilson anymore. That's for darn sure. I want to be like Geno Smith. I want to be like Geno Smith and quarterback. The city could sort of quarterback the ecosystem, because I have to make it easy for you to get access to technical assistance, capital, customers, so we can start helping one another. So my mic drop is this. I also am asking you to help each other. Help each other. You can be the greatest sources. When I was a lawyer again, and I did one area of work, I'd go to some person that did a completely different kind of work as a lawyer. And I said, look, every time someone asks about this, I'm gonna send them your way. And I'll stay in a relationship, and you send them my way. So your biggest source of referrals could also be amongst each other. You'll have to be intentional. And quite frankly, if you're not doing that, and if you're doing this just to line your pockets, just to make money, that's it. I have no interest in you. I'm going to repeat that. There has to be a greater good that you're trying to do. I am trying to employ people as the mayor. I'm trying to get people emotional help. I'm trying to build networks. If you just care about lining your pockets with money, this may not be the executive order for you. I'm very intentional there. This work that I have to do as mayor is very tough, and I could only do it with a community that believes in each other, believes in employing people from underrepresented communities. I hope you understand that. And if you don't, I have colleagues that will understand it because they hear me saying that. I want all of you to enjoy prosperity, but for the right reasons, which is building community and thinking about those that came before you and those that will come after you. Okay? So with that, we're going to, let's clap on that because I feel pretty good about that. You know, I'm not afraid to ask for some applause when I say something that's applause-worthy. You're going to hear from Kiersten Grove, just a little bit of background. She heads up the FAS that is really leading this workforce. I believe in her ability, competency, and integrity. She's been with this particular department for around 4 years or so. She's been with the city for over 12 years. She's a person of high commitment in this area. I present to you our interim director of FAS, Kiersten Grove.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have that hard job of following you. I am Kiersten Grove. I'm the acting director of FAS. We are the department which oversees purchasing and contracting for the city, as well as the city's WMBE program. Today's executive order is the culmination of our mayor's commitment to equity, tireless input from women and minority-owned businesses, honest examination from city staff on how to make contracting more equitable, and a valued partnership with members of the Mayor's WMBE Advisory Committee. FAS looks forward to partnering across the city to implement key priorities in this order. This includes creating training for city staff to emphasize the city's prioritization of WMBEs. It includes creating more engagement opportunities with city staff and WMBEs, including ones like today, the Reverse Vendor Trade Show. And today's order will also hold our city more accountable. It will ensure that we're doing everything we can, whether it's identifying policy changes or changing internal processes to center equity in our work. Nearly 700 businesses will come through the doors today for the Reverse Vendor Trade Show. I encourage you all to talk to each other, to get to know and understand everyone's experience. Everyone here wants to have a fair and equitable chance at business with the city. We all have the same goal. I'm confident that this order will help us achieve that. We at FAS look forward to working alongside Mayor Harrell and the WMBE community, and I thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Kiersten. Before I bring up the next speaker, there's 2 points I failed to make, getting all hyped up as this mayor is known to do. Seattle was one of 2 cities in the country to receive a $1 million grant from the Bloomberg Philanthropies to transform our city's procurement process so that it results driven, that we drive and make more accessible and more equitable this work. Now, we seek these kinds of funds and we get these kinds of recognition because of the work that I have city employees and leaders like Kiersten doing. One of 2 cities to receive that. We have some projects like our capital access program. I mentioned the Liberty Project, which is a culmination, again, of the University of Washington, Seattle University, doing this kind of work. Many of you know Michael Fischero's organization in University of Washington, and the Seattle Restored program, where if I see plywood downtown on storefronts is my enemy, that I can put you in there, and we're doing a lot of real creative work there as I restore our downtown. So we have some things going on, and quite frankly, we want you to know all of our opportunities. We want you to get a taste of it, if you will. Be there with us, realizing what we're trying to do. We're trying to take it up to a different level. And along those lines, I want to introduce Dr. Gillian Marshall. I'm very excited about Dr. Marshall's work. She is the principal of Dynamic and Innovative Research Solutions, which is a consulting firm of doing highly skilled research, and they're passionate about community, opening up data, social justice, innovation that meets the needs of the clients, and you are indeed our clients of this city. So Dr. Marshall attended the Reverse Vendor Trade Show last year, and through connections, she made sure there she secured a consulting contract with SPU, Seattle Public Utilities, to work to increase contracting equity for WMBEs. And again, she's a proud owner of Dynamic and Innovative Research Solutions. Dr. Gillian Marshall, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for talking back. My name is Gillian Marshall, and as the mayor has said, I'm the owner of Dynamic and Innovative Research Solutions, a Washington-based minority-owned company. I work with a range of clients, from small nonprofits to government, helping them gain clarity around research and program evaluation processes. Essentially, I help them answer really tough questions. I'm here today to give a real-life example of how the Reverse Trade Show has worked for me. So like many of you, I attended the Reverse Trade Show last year when it was hosted by Ollie, Garrett, President and CEO of Tabor 100 and her team. There I met Jana Duran, who is the division manager at Seattle Public Utilities, and later on I met her colleague Rachel McCaffrey, and during our one-on-one meeting I expressed my desire to secure consulting opportunities with the city. I shared that I attended several events hosted by the city, and I even registered with a business directory for the past year. As you can see, I'm a Black woman with a small business, highly educated, qualified, yet despite these efforts, I really couldn't understand why I wasn't making any traction. I believe Jana and Rachel are both really committed to this work. In fact, our conversations culminated into the development of a survey to ask other consultants like you and I about our experience in engaging with the city around contracting. You may have received the QR code when you registered, but there's definitely one at the SPU table, so please, I encourage you to fill it out. Some examples of the types of questions we're being asked on the survey are: how do you learn about bidding and contracting opportunities with the city? What types of assistance would be helpful to you? The executive order that the mayor is about to sign today is really important and a step forward in moving us in the right direction. However, change cannot occur if we don't know where the gaps are. So I urge you today to fill out the survey so we can help the city improve their process to increase the WMBE applicant pool and increase the number of WMBEs securing contracting opportunities with the city. This will ensure a more diverse and inclusive community for One Seattle. Thank you.
So our last speaker, before we do a little Q&A, if there's any questions, is going to be Dr. Ollie Garrett. No, you're not a doctor, I'm sure. Ollie Garrett, I just messed with Ollie. Ollie was supposed to go before Dr. Gillian. I screwed that one up. I do want to say that I'm going to call David Toledo out because you're doing an outstanding job as a small business owner and applying very diverse group. I'm going to call Laura Kleiss out for the intentional work you're doing, making sure that we're recycling money in the communities. And I'm calling you two out because if y'all would have came closer and got in these good seats, I'd have called you out too. So you got to come. I always tell my 3 children, stand up, come up front and be counted. Closed mouths don't get fed, as they say. So in all seriousness, thank all of you for being here. I want to recognize you. Ollie Garrett. His name has been mentioned a few. Look at that. I just say your name and you get an applause. It's really my honor to introduce my friend and colleague in this work to support small businesses. She's president and CEO of PMT Solutions and Tabor 100, which is an association working to further economic power, educational excellence, and social equity for African Americans and the community at large. She is an at-large appointee of the King County Civil Rights Commission, the co-chair of the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprises, and an appointed board member of the Washington State Community Economic Revitalization Board, and she's the Employment Security Advisory Board and the Washington Economic Development Finance Authority member. She's also a member of the WMBE Advisory Committee. I present to you Ollie Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As he stated, I'm Ollie Garrett, president of Tabor 100, the state's largest Black and minority business advocacy organization. I'm also the CEO of PMT Solution, a small business founded in 2008. It is an honor to stand here at the city's Reverse Vendor Trade Show, representing Tabor 100 and expressing a strong support for Mayor Harrell's executive order aimed at advancing equity in contracting for women and minority businesses. Tabor 100 represents hundreds of businesses that are eager to collaborate with the city in various sectors, including consulting, construction, supply, goods and services. We view this executive order as a significant strive toward achieving genuine equity in contracting. It not only benefits our member businesses, but also holds a great promise to members of our community seeking employment, particularly in the construction industry, which represents substantial public and private investments within our city. While there are numerous valuable aspects to the executive order, let me emphasize a few that we find particularly crucial. One, the completion and public implementation of recommendations stemming from the ongoing disparity study is a vital step forward. Two, the provision of technical assistance to Black and other minority business is essential to preparing them for forthcoming opportunity. Tabor 100 is pleased to partner with the University of Washington and Seattle University on the Liberty Project. Three, we appreciate that this executive order empowers the city WMBE staff with more authority to ensure that city agencies engage more with Black and minority businesses. Act 4, actively seeking additional ways to create opportunities for Black and other minority businesses will lead to innovative methods for including our businesses and community in the city's prosperity. 5, finally, we applaud the strategic partnership the city intends to pursue as a result of this executive order. It's worth noting that the executive order acknowledged the unique challenges that Black-owned firms face in accessing city contracts. This is significant because supporting Black businesses directly benefits the Black community, as these firms hire from within their own community. My own firm, PMT Solution, has experienced remarkable success, and I owe a great deal of that success to the support of the city. While the journey may have been challenging in the beginning, the city has been a partner throughout our growth. As we move forward, it is imperative for us to work together as a community to make this executive order a resounding success. I pledge the support of Tabor 100 in this endeavor. In closing, I would like to express my deep gratitude to Mayor Harrell for his visionary leadership. We at Tabor 100 eagerly anticipate working hand in hand with the city as we implement this executive order. Our hope is to return here next year, celebrating the success achieved through this transformation initiative. And Tabor 100 has a booth over there for all of you that are not members of Tabor, for us to help you navigate through this executive order and succeed and achieve success. Thank you.
And all these Tabor meets on Saturday mornings. You have breakfast, right?
Saturday,
The free breakfast free?
yes.
Free breakfast on Saturdays. And I've attended many of the meetings, and there's great work being done. We frequently get elected representatives there and people with actual decision-making authority there, which is very important, not just lip service. I'm going to sign the executive order. I'm going to say a closing statement or two and sign the executive order. Then we'll come back for Q&A. I think that's my protocol. How will we know this is working? We will know it's working that when I see you in 12 months here, and I'll see many of you before then, that we have more Dr. Gillian Marshalls telling us that it's working. We reserve the right to have a little bumps along the way. We're not perfect. Of course we're not perfect. Are you? Of course you're not. But we need to be perfect in our attempt. Relentless, opening up the data. Relentless in trying to get you the opportunities that you deserve. And you're going to meet me halfway by making sure you are hiring people that come from diverse backgrounds, and you're recycling your money in community events like this. And we all joy, all boats rise. That's the work we're going to do in One Seattle. So I'm going to sign the executive order. We're going to clap right now, and we're going to have a great day, a great summit today. Okay, we're going to take just media questions only. If there are any questions from the media, I'm not fishing for questions, but if there are any media questions, we'll be more than happy to respond to them. I'm getting some, that's my favorite thing from the media. 3, 2, 1, Seattle. Thank you very much. Everyone have a great day. Have a great conference.